Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. This week we're doing something a little bit different. I've been painting up and playing 30k like everyone else at the moment, and I've been going for Salamanders. Now for my Salamanders, I've got this sort of fiery cracked earth, which was inspired by Alhaus's Grey Knights. So one of the chaps, Darren, asked how I did the effect. So it's quite straightforward, and you really only need 3 paints and a varnish, which I'm actually using nail polish varnish, but anyway, we'll get back to that. So obviously this isn't a fully painted model because I'm just demonstrating how I do the basing, but anyway, the key thing is I'm starting with Wild Rider Red, which normally you don't start with like this very orangey red straight over black, but the funny thing is because we're doing a cracked earth over the top, we don't really care about the way we should paint. All we got to make sure we do is we don't put it on too thick, and we're just going to go straight over the top of the base. Obviously this is a base that's been sprayed black because that's part of the undercoat process, but really doesn't make a difference. Now you can see I'm just literally slapping it on here. It's very patchy, it's very inconsistent colour, but we're not really going to care too much because we're going to be covering all this up with cracked earth, so only bits and pieces of it will show through. So I'm going to just slap this all over, nice orange colour. Just trying to keep it fairly neat. Obviously you don't want to get it all over your figure, but you want to make sure you get everywhere so you aren't left with bits like right up against the feet. Obviously we'll be putting more than earth over all of this, but there we are. It's a little bit patchy, but no one cares. And obviously I'm using a really thick brush here, a shade brush. So I'm going to give that a second to dry. Then I'm going straight with Uriel yellow straight over the top. But you can't do yellow straight over the top. Yes, you can. Again, we're not worried about it being patchy or showing an odd colour, because obviously yellow goes very green when you don't layer it properly. But because we won't be seeing a lot of this, we aren't really going to care too much. So I'm just literally going to splash this on, not going all the way to the edge, and see some of the orange is still, some of the Wild Rider Red is still a little bit wet, so it's mixing together, but we really don't care because, yeah, it'll give us the effect of having the yellow, the cracked lava underneath, but yeah, just going to go around like this. Again, I've done this while it's wet, so you see there's some mixing going on there, almost like wet blending, but we're really not concerned. Now the key thing with Uriel yellow, it's quite translucent, so when this dries, you can see here, you can already see some of the orange through it, so we'll get that nice effect of that orange and yellow. Now, unfortunately for us, I do actually have to let this dry. So I'm going to let this dry completely. Then I'm going to stick some nail polish in this instance because I happen to have a load of it. But any varnish will do. And you're just basically going to varnish all over the top and completely seal the base. But you need to make sure this is 100% dry before we do that. So I'm going to clear this all off, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that's had some time to dry. We can see here, obviously, where Uriel yellow is very translucent. We can sort of see the orange peeking through. It's very inconsistent, very patchy, which ironically is exactly what we're looking for, because when we get the basing material on here and it cracks, we'll have patches then, which will look cool. So varnishing. Again, there's multiple different varnishes you can use. There's an Humbrol's acrylic brush on. You could theoretically use spray if you'd finished painting the model. And this is just cheap nail polish top coat. It's slightly glossy, but that's fine because we'll be going over the top of it anyway. And it comes with a brush. So all I'm going to do is just brush this on and keep it from going on too thick. In fact, it's slightly wet there still. Didn't quite give this enough time to dry. But yeah, so I'm just going to dab it on. Get a nice coating, not too much, not too thick, but enough that we can, I don't know if we can see, but we've covered the whole top of the base there, right up to his feet. I think, just to make sure. So whole thing is covered. As you angle it, you might be able to see the reflection where it's still wet. So it's not really showing on the camera, but never mind. Right, so I'm going to sit, and again, more exciting times. I'm going to leave that to dry because this needs to be 100% dry before we add the Mordant Earth, and obviously we'll do that once it is all set. Right, so that varnish had time to dry. You can see it's giving it a nice shine all over. And that leads us to the next part, or the final part, which is Citadel's Mordant Earth. Now, this is a cracking medium, so we're going to lump it on really thick, and then as it dries, it then cracks and gives us that broken earth texture. So what I'm doing is giving it a good shake. And then I know we received a tool in the latest Imperium magazine, but for those who haven't got it, just any scaggy old brush will do. And all we're going to do is we're going to get, like, see this is a huge lump of it, and just plonk it on. Like, we're not going to spread it round, we're just going to dab on this great big blobs of it, so it covers the base. So you see, I don't know if you can see that proper lumpy girt lumps of it. I'm literally just scooping out loads, just plonking it straight on the base. Trying not to smear it about or anything. Obviously, it doesn't matter if we don't go, you don't want to hit the miniature itself. You want to get quite close. But anything we don't cover, that'll be fine, because we can see these gaps here. When the rest of the medium cracks, we will, it'll just look like extra patches of crack in the seam. There we are. We can see I've plastered that on quite thickly. And then, just like with the rest of it, all we got to do now is wait. So this miniature's had 24 hours to dry. Obviously it won't be that for you guys. But here we can see the result of what's happened with the Mordant Earth. So we can see where we piled it up all very thickly, it's given us some nice big chunks, whereas the thinner coating has come up with much shallower cracks. It's nice to have the different textures, because obviously you can see the different patterns going on there. Now, there we are. So as we can see, it's easy enough to do with a little bit of pre-planning. Remembering to varnish is the key to this. Now I've seen a tournament, someone did a mixtures of blues and greens and yellows, and then did Mordant Earth over the top, and that gave very chaosy under effect. Obviously these have been done with lava effect, but you could do just reds and ended up with cracked earth with blood flowing underneath. So there's a wide range of different uses, and all of the different colours they do from Mordant Earth is black, I do believe Durland's Battlemire is a brown. Agrellan Earth is a very pale bonish colour. So there are a wide range of different ones that Colours GW do. But all you've got to think about is what you want to go underneath them. So, as always, thanks for watching and have fun.